experience?
Well, let's just we're actually just starting, so I'll go with Luke, and then we'll just go down the line. Uh, so,
Cool.
so right now I see Luke, Raphael, and then you. Okay. So you're actually pretty early. That's you didn't miss anything. All right. So Luke, what's your experience?
I don't really have any experience, like professional experience, but sometimes, for example, school or as a spiritual center which I visit, I write something and it's pretty easy for me to write, I think, something attractive, or
Okay.
I don't know, it goes
Um,
kind of natural for me.
yeah. I mean, I guess my experience, like when I first started, I never really thought I had experience either, but I would like maybe read newsletters, right? And you don't really realize it, but you do like pick that stuff up.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's all like subconscious, and you just all you really need is like some pointers, and then it'll happen as well. Um, so let's just go down the line with Raphael. What's like? Do you have any experience with copywriting or no?
Not really. I guess same as Luke. Uh, Studying English, you pretty much go through the same standard crap, like persuasive essay
Okay.
and that kind of junk. But
Yeah.
professional
Okay.
experience.
And then Tim.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess I've definitely got experience doing it in my own business. I have a online retail business, and back when I first started about 4 years ago, well, I guess I was writing copy for a lot of the listings for the products I was selling, so ended up doing some copywriting courses and whatnot. So I've got
Okay.
a bit of experience in sort of terminology and I understand Gary Harburger and his background, and I guess a lot of other copywriting
Okay.
sort of techniques and whatnot. So, but there's
Okay.
tons to learn. It's one of those things you can always keep learning more about, right? And it's
Right. Right.
very far from perfect. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I think Tim should be on this call, moderating it right now. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I've had some experience with copywriting myself. I was working with Josh at Down Badass, so I picked up a little bit of copywriting stuff from there, and then I tried some stuff on my own just to apply it. Um, and so I was kind of learning John Benson stuff prior to this anyway, and I picked some other stuff up too, but it was very kind of loose based. But but the cool thing is I was kind of learning John Benson's copy stuff, and now we're doing the 3x VSL, which is also John Benson's VSL stuff, so it should translate pretty seamlessly. So perfect. So what I'm going to do now is now we can. So just because you're new, you just got here now, Tim. I just told all the other guys that if you have any questions, like as I'm doing the presentation, just send them to Jacob, right? Um, and then what will happen is that um, he will like basically at the end of my thought process, like whatever thought I finish, um, Jacob will give me all the answers that are like all the questions that need to be answered. And if your question got answered like prior to it, just feel free to let Jacob know, because otherwise I'm just going to assume that the question is still not answered for you, right?
Sure.
Um, yeah, perfect. All right, so what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna share my screen, and Jacob, you can let me know if this came out properly.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yes,
mute.
looks good.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So this is the 3x VSL toolbox. Um, this is John Benson stuff. So essentially, it's very like uh, it's very I don't know how to say it, but everything is very seamless, right? I can go here right? And if I click edit, I can edit the VSL just to give you an idea of the features of it. There's literally like there's literally almost no thinking going on, right? You can literally write the slides like this, and it'll tell you like, you know, first name, third person, whatever. So it can literally tell you like what you need to write, and then it has all these power words as well. So you can pretty much put anything in here, and then you can also like change it around to whatever kind of copy you want. Perfect. So as you can see over here, there's already like a lot of stuff here, and some of this is Josh's stuff, but this is all kind of test stuff. So what I'm going to do is have Jacob send you guys this test. This is like my first VSL. So this has everything. This is everything that is kind of like handpicked. It's a nice completed version that you guys can use as an example. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So basically, let me just go into the goal is basically to give you guys like a crash course and create a skeleton, right? A skeleton framework, and this is a lot of information. So and these are like a lot of videos, right? So I just want you guys to feel like I'm kind of the person in the back of the class that that is showing you how everything is going on. And the other reason is that Josh is talking to John Benson, and John is in between launches, so he can't give us multiple access yet. So the next best thing is for somebody like me who's already kind of gone through this, to give you guys like a nice crash course on the most important parts, right? So it kind of looks like a nice outline of how you guys should go about it. So
I can't hear
so
you.
far?
We can't hear you anymore. Say something, Sunny.
I'm just waiting for you guys.
Okay. So you're back.
Are there any questions?
No questions for now.
Okay, perfect. All right, so everybody gets everything. Okay. All right. So perfect. So let's get started on our VSL Bootcamp. Perfect. So the goal of advertising, as John Benson puts it, is to enter a conversation that's already going on in your prospect's mind. So essentially, if you know what your prospect is thinking, you can kind of lead them into some sort of like a sale or a particular action, right? And a lot of what copywriting is from what I take of it, is essentially keeping somebody's brain kind of in a certain flow, and then kind of guiding them to a decision, right? You don't know exactly what they're thinking, but if you can kind of lead them into a general direction, and then keep them there, right? Not produce any kind of bumpy like a bumpy journey through their as they're watching your VSL, say for example. It'll keep them kind of like focused, and then get them to some sort of a particular action, or generally, as the case with VSLs, a sale, right? So that's the goal of advertising, as I see it. And what we're going to do is we're not necessarily going to be doing like full-on copywriting. What we're going to do is what John Benson calls wordsmithing. So essentially, it's like copywriting. It's not as hardcore, like it's a nice crash course which will give you a nice guideline for how to write good copy, right? Um, so wordsmithing essentially is taking trite or otherwise boring words and, as he puts it, putting a little bit of spice on them. So examples of that are like the only, right? Uh, like let's say somebody says this product helps make you a lot of money, right? And then if somebody were to say the only product that can do some specific thing, right? You're going to focus more on something that's scarce, right? One of a kind, and then a lot of verbs, like a lot of like power verbs, right? Miraculous, faster and easier, either faster or easier, and apparently faster and easier. You can use them as phrases as well. Absolutely. Discover, and then experience is a really big one. John says that people don't want to just get a product just for getting a product. They want, and they don't even want to get it for like the information inside it. They want to get the information inside it so they can experience something, right? If it's weight loss, they can experience the freedom of X, Y, and Z, and other stuff like that. So like even like money, right? Experience the freedom of not having to worry about looking in your bank account or something like that. And you know, other stuff like that. So we're just some like wordsmithing examples. This is like a dating product example, right? So a bad one would be product name helps attract women in the day. A better wordsmithing example would be product attracts beautiful women in the day, right? In the daytime, right? A little bit less vague and kind of new, right? Kind of novel, right? And then the ideal one would be effortlessly attract gorgeous women in the daytime with this proven system, right? So it's proven, and then effortlessly, right? And then you're putting kind of like the psychological emphasis on these women aren't just beautiful, right? They're like exceptional, right? So it's all about kind of like standing out and very kind of sales oriented. So completely different from content, right? It uses a completely different part of your brain from content. It's you know, marketing. So yeah. So any questions so far?
No questions.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, I have a question. Don't you think that
What's
the
up?
ideal, hey, don't you think the ideal sentence, for example, there is a bit too, like focused on sales or something, and a bit over, well, I don't know exactly how to say it, but I
Over.
think that it might, if I look at something, I'm more like, oh, it's a bit too much focused on sales, so it will probably be another thing that like I buy or
Yeah.
I and then
It feels like a little. Does it feel a little flashy and spammy?
yeah, like that.
Okay. Yeah. It can feel like that. The only problem is that if it's the thing is like this is like I don't know exactly if this is like the 100% best example. This is an example I came up with, but your brain will. It's all about what your brain will respond to subconsciously, and your brain will your brain will respond to those words. So it's not really like it's not really like I've kind of had this problem myself too, like honest marketing versus like kind of flash marketing, right?
Yes.
I think that's what you're getting at. So so I think there is something there, right? But I know that this kind of marketing still works, and I think what it's designed for is reaching the most amount of people possible. So what happens is that most
But
people. Sorry.
do you think that that is our target audience?
I'll explain it to you, and then if anybody feels like it's still not understood, then or there's a contention, they can put their thoughts in it. But what will happen is that let's say this is specifically a dating product, right? Or this is like a headline for a dating product. This would be for general, like the kind of massive people, right? And generally like general guys. So the cool thing about what we're doing is there is no cost, right? And it's not our audience is not kind of like the general kind of audience, right?
Yeah.
Like Josh said, it's a lot of serious people, right? A lot of serious thinkers, and so what will happen? I'll show you on in the presentation that our marketing
You are.
getting very like
Oh, never mind.
seamless between okay, yeah, so our marketing will be and our copy will be very like in a very nice place between sales and content.
Okay.
So the thing is I guess the broader, right, your product is and the copy that you have, the dumber it kind of is. I don't know how to put it. Or it's like, the more it's made for like a massive people that don't want to think, right? And so it just kind of spikes their brain up and leads them into a certain direction of thinking,
Yes.
right? So depending on the audience, right, and our audience is going to be very serious about self-improvement or kind of just kind of in that general frame, right? So we can actually use a lot of these techniques for sending out an honest message. Because the other thing is we're not selling it at any price. So that's also gonna cut down on all the kind of like tricky marketing, or at least I think it is. Yeah. So yeah. So I hope that answered your question. And
Yes.
are there like any other questions?
No.
No, perfect. Okay. So let's go into some of the examples of wordsmithing. Actually, not wordsmithing examples. Some of the examples of copy that we're going to use, right? Techniques. And anybody who has experience in this probably know. This is called subliminal formatting and highlighting. So this says, don't buy into all these fad diets, right? Now is the time to act. What's in red? Buy now. So the other thing is, now is completely capitalized, right? So we're going to be using this, like I told Luke, we're not really selling anything. So we're going to be using this for our own purposes, and yeah. So we're not going to be using it in the same manner, but we're going to be. But we are going to use these techniques for whatever exactly we want, which is essentially just getting the message across. And then the guideline that John has for the VSLs is paraphrasing, right? So essentially, what that is use every 5 to 7 slides, right? You use paraphrasing of your original thought, right? So the thing is, if I were to write all those, if I were to write 5 sentences in one slide, what will happen is that the reader will read it, and then he'll get bored, and he'll focus his attention on something else in the room, and then he'll just leave the VSL. So it just so happens that it creates a hypnotic effect, right? Because it's 1 sentence per slide. But the truth is, it also prevents reader drop-off. So this is an example. Let's say we're already 3 sentences in, right? It says, this weight loss ebook allows you to lose 30 pounds in a mere 2 months. Not only that, it will help you keep the weight off for as long as you follow my weight loss blueprint. Bottom line is that this plan works, right? So I had these two slides, right? And then this is the paraphrase slide. If somebody's kind of getting lost in what you're saying, right, or if their mind is kind of wandering, you use a paraphrase slide to kind of bring them back to what's going on, right? So you're always kind of leading them through your VSL. So now another technique that they use is the action drop. The action drop is essentially powerful like verbs, or actually words that are kind of considered commands, right? So like listen and now. There's other words too, like hear this or remember this, right? So like this one. So I say, listen, you're not one of those people that believes everything some guru says on the internet. That's why I'm here to show you that show you proof that this system works like a charm. And then this one. Now I'm not here to tell you what to think. However, if you need any more encouragement, here's some testimonials. So I hope you get an idea of that. Perfect. Any questions so far on the kind of like the little techniques that we're using?
No, there's no questions.
Nope. Okay. All right. So let's get into our headline benefit formula. So this is the headline that's going to go on top of your VSL. So this is usually a power word, right? The power word is something you can see here. So a power word, and then an outrageous result that comes with it, minus public enemy number 1, 2, and 3. So this is the power word that I used for my VSL, right? Sorry. Let's see. Insightful, step-by-step. Step-by-step is a power word because it shows you that you can do something. It's written down and it's already laid out for you. So insightful, step-by-step answers to your biggest questions in this lifetime without spending your life savings, following a guru, or losing direction ever again. Any questions? And then as you can see, like we're using kind of like this copy stuff, but we're using it more for the message than we are for like the sales. No questions?
No questions.
Perfect. All right. So now we're going to get into writing your VSL. And so John uses the 1, 2, 3 formula for writing his VSL. And so these are John's essentials to writing a VSL. A good one. 1 is your USP. USP stands for your unique selling point or your unique selling position. It's not like a motto. It's not like a company motto or anything like that. It's a unique selling position for your product. Then there's 2 stories. So you use 1 nightmare story and then 1 dream story. The short gist of it is a nightmare story is essentially something really, really horrible that happened to you that you can relate to your VSL as like a something really something really horrible that happened to you that turned you into an expert by necessity, and you can use it for your VSL. And then 1 dream story, and your dream story will be essentially what your life will be like after you get this product. And then 3 tips. So you have kind of a primal avoid tip. This is kind of dealing with like your kind of fear. And then you have your emotional avoid tip, and then you have a logical how-to tip. So these are essentially 3 modes that your readers will be in when they're watching your VSL. And essentially, if they're thinking, why should I get this product? They will respond more to the avoid tip. And then if they want to see what's possible, right, they will respond more to the what if, emotional, like enjoy tip. and if they want a step-by-step process, if they're more in a more logical mode, they will respond to the how-to tip. And then after that, he also has 4 comparisons, 2 serious ones and 2 funny ones. And those are used in your VSL, and I'm not going to go into detail about it right now, but I'll just go into it later as we go along, and I go into more detail about these things individually. Any questions right now? Nope?
Nope.
Perfect. So now we're going to get into writing your USP, your unique selling point. So your USP is essentially the prime benefit that you can give to your audience, right? And the results of that and what it enables, right? Enablers to so I'm sorry, your first enabler and then your second enabler, right? So from how I wrote my VSL, my prime benefit was true answers to your life's purpose and directions in this lifetime, right? Because you don't know if you're gonna have a second lifetime. You don't know that for sure. And then the enabler for that was unparalleled. See, this is a power word, right? Unparalleled clarity and peace of mind. And then my second enabler was complete and utter freedom you never even thought was possible. So essentially my USP, with a little bit of wordsmithing and everything put in there, right, looks like this. Discover the true nature, right? And as you see, I'm literally using all this copy for stuff that I want to use it for, like getting the message across, right? So to say, discover the true nature of your being and receive answers to some of your biggest questions in this lifetime, allowing you to experience unparalleled clarity, peace of mind, and the complete and utter freedom you never even thought was possible. Any questions on the USP?
Nope. No questions.
Perfect. Now we're going to go into the nightmare and dream story. This is essentially where you become an expert by necessity. So nightmare story is going to be a long story, and the outline that it kind of follows is pain, and then more pain, so it gets worse. So you find a story that brings out a particular pain, and then more pain, so you put a magnifying glass on it, so it's unbearable. And so basically, people are relating to your story, and they feel like, okay, he has to do something, right? So what happens is there's like a breakout archetype or phase, right? Which John Benson calls his personal Declaration of Independence. And then a hero study, right? It's an overview of a realization that he gets from his hero study, and so then what happens is you get the results of it and an overview, and he basically gives an overview, like a broad overview of the system that he learned from it. So basically, it's something painful that happened to you, and then you emphasize it, and you show how it got worse to the point that you just couldn't, you had to do something. So you just turn into this completely different person, and you just set your goal on, getting this thing handled. And you have a hero study, right? And you just keep going at it. You don't care. You just want out of this pain. And what happens is that you finally realize that you're out of it. And not only do you realize that you're out of it, you also realize that you actually built up a system, even like unknowingly, you built up a system that helps you, never have to deal with this problem ever again. So that's your nightmare story. And then what we have is your dream story. This one is shorter. and it's essentially what your life would look like after the system. So I'll give you kind of like a broad outline of Josh's nightmare story. This is the one. Um, Josh leaves his old company in 2009. It's flat broke, so he's living in a rundown apartment. Breaks out in hives from stress. So he already left his old company. He's already broke, and he's scraping cents, right? So it's already bad. So it gets worse part is he breaks out in hives from the stress, and then he leaves his girlfriend at the time. And here's the worst part: he's actually forgetting how to make his previous success happen, right? And so he kind of goes on a journey and realizes that he was addicted to small games, and so he was basically addicted to small games that seem to go on forever, right? And he sets out to win the only game worth winning, and basically discovers waking up for just about everyone every time. Okay, and then we have a dream story example. Imagine what your life would be like if you had the level of insight and awareness that you thought was only reserved for gurus and ascended masters, right? Going about your life not trying to be this or that person, living your life without anything holding you back at all, with the freedom and courage to go anywhere and be anyone, a blank slate, ready to mold itself to its universal cosmic purpose. Just a heads up, guys. I'm not sure if we're going to be using this language exactly, but this is the language I use for the VSL, and I just kept going with it because I just rather be in the flow of things, and I also feel like you guys should do that as well. Like if you're in the flow of things, finish your thought process. So we can, and we're always going to edit the fine tune. So yeah. So this is the nightmare story and the dream story example. Any questions?
No questions.
Perfect. All right. So now we are going to go into the 4 comparisons. So usually you have 2 serious comparisons and 2 funny comparisons. So these serious comparisons are what you can do is you can compare. The thing is, with the comparisons, they're not really used in specific. Like they're used in certain parts of the VSL, and they're not necessarily used at the right time. Like some of them are used at completely different times of the VSL. Some of them are not. But this one says compare products to other similar products. So this will be like unlike The Power of Now, The Secret, or any general book in self-development. The name of our product, or what I put it, is the Inner Game System. So the Inner Game System actually solves the biggest questions in your life that provide a step-by-step roadmap to let you know whether you're going forwards or backwards in your inner progress, right? And then we have a serious one, right? We'll go
Sonny, you're cutting out.
from
The
this
audio is not so good. Maybe you have to re-say that. Sonny? You can't hear you anymore. Now you're back. No, you're not there. Can you hear us? Sonny? Can't hear anything. Nothing there. Nothing commenting.
I can hear you guys.
Now we can hear you too. Say something? Not really, no. Nothing coming through. Nope. Still nothing.
Let's see.
Maybe everybody could stop their video, like turn off the camera, so it takes up some. Cool, perfect. Sunny, are you there? Can't hear anything. Sunny, can you hear us? Can you write something in the chat? It's like you're muted or something, but you're not muted. We just can't hear you anymore. Maybe you have to end the screen. Okay. Nothing. Sunny? It seems like his connection crashed or something. Let's wait it out for a couple of minutes. I will. All right. So he should be coming back, I guess. Yeah, Tim, I think you're right. The enabler is exactly what it will enable you to do. And Sunny will get back to that in the presentation later on. If you still have a question at the end of it, we should ask it. Is that cool? Seems like Sunny's connection totally crashed because I can't reach him on Facebook either. Let's try to wait it out for a couple of minutes. If he's not back in like 5 to 10 minutes, we can stop it and sort it out with Sunny and then get back to it, so the broadcast is not like stretched out for too long and you guys are not sitting there waiting. You can unmute yourself. You can talk if you want. Are you able to unmute yourself? Maybe only Sunny is able to do that. That would be funny.
I can unmute myself.
Yeah, I think the other ones can't.
Hello.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah.
Cool. So is everything clear so far? About the VSL?
Yes, although I think that maybe we should be a bit careful with too flashy things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but
we'll
for
see
now it's
how
just
it
like the
works.
basics of VSL.
Yes, I
It's just
understand.
covering that, and I think we all agree that we should be like more low key, more honest, not so salesy kind of marketing.
Yes, we'll see how it works out.
Okay, Sunny is back, he says. Cool. Get him back on the call then. Okay, should be here in a couple of seconds. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, you're on.
Okay,
You're back.
everybody's here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Perfect. Sorry, guys. I think my computer just crapped out on me and just said, "Fuck you. I'm not taking this."
No
It just
bootcamp.
went off. It was just like you opened too many tabs and everything.
Yeah,
But
hang on,
let's
it's pretty
let's
heavy.
get back to where we left off.
Cool.
Cool. So now everybody can see everything. Okay. So no questions on the nightmare story, right?
No question on the nightmare story. Tim had a question, but I think we will cover it later, and if it's still not answered, then we can
Okay.
bring it up.
Okay. Actually, we're like one slide away, and we have about 12 to 15 minutes. So we're already like past our 1 hour mark. So that's perfect. So we'll be just in time for a Q&A.
Awesome.
Okay. For comparisons. So the for comparisons. Oh, let me just mute everybody. Or if everybody can mute themselves. Let's see.
Everybody's muted.
Okay, perfect. So for comparisons, some of these are used in certain parts of your VSL. They're actually used in your VSL, but they're not all used in the same exact slide. So the serious comparisons, is comparing it to something that's kind of similar, right, as a product, but is more famous, right? So they'll link something famous. They'll associate something famous to you, right? So unlike The Power of Now, The Secret, or any general book, right, you could use something like, I don't know, Awaken Giant Within or something. But I'm thinking people that are our general audience might read a lot of The Power of Now, and I really don't know any other books that are like this that are famous, right? And even The Secret is not exactly that similar to it, but it is kind of. In any case, right, or any other general book on personal development, the inner game system actually solves the biggest questions in your life to provide a step-by-step roadmap to let you know whether you are going forward or backwards in your progress. So that's one serious comparison. And then another serious comparison is you'll go from this to that, right? So using the inner game system, right, you will go from living your life breakdown to breakdown, desperately trying to keep up with society's rat race, or should I say rat trap. And then you can actually put this into a different, like a separate slide, but I just put this all together to finish the thought. And pressure to perform in all your life's little games to actually succeeding at the only game worth winning, which in turn allows you to navigate through your smaller games and get better at winning them much faster than you ever thought before. Stress-free and with a smile on your face, right? And then you have another way of doing funny comparisons, right? So this one is like, these directions are so simple and easy to follow. It's like having Sherlock Holmes find your change under the couch, right? Looking for your hat when it's on top of your head, or these directions are so simple you just might ask me permission to go to the bathroom because you'll think you're in kindergarten. Connecting two dots on a straight line, having Einstein explain your math homework, and then the other most famous example of a comparison is like Josh's goldfish, right? Hi, I'm Josh, and this is a fish. And then there's been other VSLs, like there's like a magic magnet one. So there's one that's linking into a magnet. And then John Benson has one where he says, "This is my magic jacket," right? And that's like one where he connects his funny kind of object, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be funny, but it has to be something that creates some sort of like a pattern interrupt, right? Yeah, and so he links it to his nightmare story. So this is going to be your guys' homework, right? Quote unquote. So I want you guys to come up with at least one VSL headline with one relevant USP, 2 max, because this is going to be kind of closely related to your angle for your VSL. 1 nightmare and 1 dream story, and then 3 tips, 1 avoid tip, one enjoy tip and one how-to tip, and 4 comparisons, right? 2 serious and 2 funny. You don't necessarily have to, as far as the one thing that I really want you guys to get right are these 3 tips. 3 tips can make or break a VSL. If you don't have good tips, then people are just not. They're not going to feel like they get any value for the VSL. But the comparisons I'm the most lax about. It doesn't necessarily have to be 2 serious or 2 funny. It can be 1 serious one or 1 funny one or 2 funny ones. Or so make your pick of how many you want. You can make 2 to 3, or actually 1 to 2 to 1 to 4 comparisons. And I want you guys to come up with at least 1 to 2 max angles for your own VSL. This one is an asterisk because this is one that Josh really wants to get written. This is a primal fear of VSL. So this would be more like an avoid, something that kind of puts that avoid fear. And it says you are going to die. As far as you know, you don't have much time. You have no idea when it's going to happen. Right? And so this one is something that Josh really wants written. So whoever wants to kind of take up their if they feel like this is the right thing for them to do, like feel free to take this VSL because I know that Josh wants this written one way or another. So yeah, so come up with 1 to 2 angles, and your angles are going to essentially be the theme, right? The main theme for your VSL, and so your angle is gonna be your main theme, and then from there you create your USP, you create your nightmare and dream story, and then you create 3 tips around that, and 4 comparisons. Okay, let's see. Any questions?
Nope.
Nope. Perfect. Okay, see. All right, perfect. So just a little bit of a note. The angle of your slide is going to be used in your comparison, which will be your pattern interrupt intro and your nightmare story realization. So basically, whatever you realize from your nightmare story is going to be used. For the nightmare story, you can feel free to reach out to me or Jacob. Say that, like, let's say you're going to pick the "you are going to die" angle for the VSL, and then you can say, "Can you give me any like nightmare story examples for like something to do with like he had a specific story about like when he first realized that was when he was going surfing." So you can ask us that question, and we'll relay it to Josh, and then he'll probably give you a good nightmare story to use. And then what you can do is you can have a comparison, right? You can have some sort of an object that relates to it, right? Like in just a few moments, I'm going to show you how this surfboard can help you find your deepest questions, find your deepest answers to life, right? So the angle of your slide, right? You are going to die is going to be used in your comparison and in your nightmare story realization. So just a heads up, I'm going to send you my. I have a VSL that I made, right? And my angle for my VSL was the only game worth winning. So the entire theme for my VSL was the only game worth winning. How to get away from these smaller games and start playing the one game that undoes all these other games, right? It's more like a fun kind of enjoy VSL. Perfect. That's it for today, I believe. Let me see. Actually, yeah. yeah, that's it for today. Let me. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So this is it. Let me see if there's any questions. And if people feel free, like if you guys want to stay a little bit longer to learn some more stuff, or if you feel like this is already a lot of stuff, feel free to let me know.
Okay, so we can open up the conversation now, right?
Yeah, we can open it up to Q&A.
Yeah, and can you share the PowerPoint and all the slides with the guys?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Let's hold off on the Q&A. Actually, um, let me just show you the first. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to show them the PowerPoint slide. So I'm gonna do these last two slides, slides 18 and 19,
Yep.
to give them an example. Okay, so these are the 6 steps to a VSL. Now that you guys have your homework, right? You're gonna ask yourself, what, like, how am I gonna apply it? So these are the 6 steps to a VSL. You have step 1. This is the snap suggestion, which is basically dealing with pattern interrupts, comparisons, and open loops. And then you have step 2, which is creating some sort of a connection, right? So you have your nightmare story goes here. You have the big problem, step 3, which is where you can create some sort of a conspiracy. Then you have step 4, the bigger solution, and this is where your 3 tips go. Then you have your grand offer, which is reveal the system and its unique selling point. So essentially, these are the 5 steps to VSL. This is essentially your USPs revealed in the grand offer. Usually for products, it's when they reveal their price and stuff like that. And then you have a Q&A. These are just like frequently asked questions. But yeah, so essentially, we're going to be dealing with these 4 leading up to step 5, just like the first couple slides. And now I'm just going to show you an example of step 1 and how you guys can use it. So you see where it's heading and how the picture kind of comes together. So objective of step 1, right, the snap suggestion, is essentially to grab attention. This is done by pattern interrupts and open loops to provide some sort of value, right, something that they feel like will give them value. And then you use your kind of 3-tip overview, which builds some sort of curiosity and interest, and it lets them know it's something completely different. This is also how you use the comparisons, right? Like, unlike the power of now, or this or that, my book does this and that and this other thing, right? And then you use your time constraint, scarcity. I'm going to keep this up for as long as I possibly can. I use this one specifically because I don't really want to use the other ones. Like, this video may get taken down. I really don't know. I don't really, I don't really want to use that one. It seems kind of, well, this just seems more honest to me. And then confirm further attention. So you grab their attention, you provide some sort of value, and you confirm further attention. And you use what we call an open loop, right? Which is essentially, before I get to this, before I get to this thing, right? Before I get to my nightmare story of when I got, when I was like in a lot of trouble, right? Let me tell you. Well, before I get to the 3 tips that I'm going to use to help you, achieve this, whatever it is. Let me show you something that makes me, let me show you something that I was dealing with that I honestly thought, would never lead me up to this point here teaching you. And then you kind of close it up with the deal, so you confirm further intention. So the success of your step 1 slide of your snap suggestion is basically, they say, the first part, they say, okay, this is interesting, right? I wonder how this can help me. And then after that, towards the end of it, they basically go and they say, deal, okay, I'm listening. If this doesn't make sense, I'll show you right now. The step 1 is essentially slides 1 through 27, and should give you a good idea. This is how my my PowerPoint presentation went. So what's the difference between living and existing? Maybe this is the first time you have actually thought of this, or maybe you've thought of this before, but never found the answer. Well, whatever you do, don't leave this page until this video is finished playing. Because in just a minute, I'm going to show you how this letter is causing you to play a very serious game. Which, believe it or not, the meaning inside it holds your golden ticket to achieving your universal cosmic purpose. If you watch this presentation until the end, you will discover why you spend so much energy into your life games, how impossible they are to win, and how you can play and succeed at the only game worth winning. You will also learn how to live your life with more freedom in 1 month than you have ever lived in the past year, without spending all of your life savings or getting a guru or anything outlandish like that. Now I'm going to keep this presentation up for as long as I can. However, I want you to make sure you get the most out of this video one way or another, so you can really reap the benefits of what is being said here. This is my gift, right, from me to you. It's free, and I don't want anything in return except your undivided attention. You can see attention is highlighted here. So what are the odds that you'll discover something totally unexpected and new today? Slim is what you may be thinking. Yet I can guarantee that you've never seen anything like this. What I'm really revealing today is unique, and as rare as it is to find anything remotely similar to compare this to, it still hasn't been done in the manner that I'm about to show you now. And the last tip I'll share today near the end is the most powerful, so keep watching. Remember, I'm about to share something that has eluded some of the greatest minds and successful people in history, and even more little-known tips to make that mindset happen for you. Before we dive in, I want to share something from my personal life. See, so this is an open loop. Before we dive in, I want to share something from my personal life that makes me look like a complete idiot when it comes to winning at anything. You'll see why I was reluctant to even include this story in about a minute, so stay with me. Deal? So basically, this is the end of the pattern interrupt. So this is the comparison that I'm using. I'm using this small letter I, which I'm going to link to. I don't link this to my nightmare story, but you guys should. This is recommended. I link this to step 3. But in any case, this is the one thing I'm going to use for a comparison to link it to. And then I go into a brief overview about my tips, right? Then I say that this is something completely different, right? Like, so what are the odds that you'll discover something totally unexpected and new today? So I go into how it's something different. If you're going to use a serious comparison, like unlike the power of now, right, you can use it here. And then I kind of go back into the my last tip, right? Near the end is the most powerful. So keep watching. The how-to tip is one of the most powerful tips that you're going to use because one of the biggest things you can give in content is a little piece of how to do something. You know, so they know that you know what you're talking about. So you go into you just tease them about the how-to tip, right? And then what you do is you put an open loop. So you say before we dive in, right? Before we dive into the how-to tip, I want to share something. So then you open loop it to your nightmare story. So stay with me. And then you say the last slide should say deal, right? And then what's their mind going to go into? They're going to say, okay, deal. Like this thing is interesting, and right before he shows this thing to me, he wants to tell me this other thing. Okay, I'll wait. Okay, now oh, just one little thing right before we go into the Q&A. You might notice that these are title headline caps, and these are not. That's because as you go further down, they're not. They're all lowercase for the most part. Yeah, that's basically because that's personally when I was writing this VSL, I just kind of went through the flow of these things, and I think John writes his VSLs with headline caps. Okay, so I guess since you guys have a nice homework that you guys can do at your own pace, when you're finished with your VSLs, feel free to turn like whatever system you're using, right? If you're just in the flow of things and you're writing this, and you don't have time to make these caps, or you know, that's fine. But like when you're done, like afterwards, whatever is comfortable to you, try to make these into headline caps. Apparently, I think this is the way that John likes to put his VSLs, into headline caps. And actually, I actually had let me see. We had 2 websites that I guess I can have you guys go to that will help you do that. So we can open it up to Q&A now, and then I'll just find these 2 websites on my own. Perfect.
Sounds good.
Okay, perfect. Right. All right.
Let's unmute everybody.
Unmute everyone. Okay.
Wilson. Tim, are you there?
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Perfect. Any questions? I know I was kind of going through a lot of this stuff pretty fast, but I hopefully covered anything, and if there's anything that we need to cover, we can do that now.
It's a pretty awesome system, I've got to say. There's a lot to cover here. I think once I think I get in there and start playing around with it, and actually using what you're talking about, using the pattern interrupts and the open loops, etc. I think that's it's going to be very, very, very useful. I was actually trying to write a sales letter out of Josh's original video, and I noticed all these little things, in particular that little thing that you talked about, like the deal, just trying to get people's buy-in and hook them in. It's really critical. But what I really noticed from the whole thing was the conversational manner, and how critically important that is. And I think that'll probably cover off what Luke was saying, is that
Hear you. I know.
if it sounds conversational, then it won't sound salesy. And if it's done in the right way, people will just continue to listen.
And
they won't get turned off.
Yeah. So, like, completely honest, and yeah, and we're doing it like this, so it's pretty good. For any of you guys that have like problems using like headline capitalization, I just kind of went to because I sometimes have a problem with this, but you guys can visit these 2 sites just to get the general rules of what to capitalize. And then, we will upload the VSL that I used, so you guys have have an idea of how to use have a guide on how to use it, and I guess we could also upload the VSL Bootcamp. I just wouldn't recommend you guys read ahead of it. Just read it with me, and then so we can follow it together as a walkthrough.
You mean the presentation?
Yeah, the presentation.
Cool.
So I just want you guys to know, this is going to require a lot of writing and rewriting. Josh told me essentially that one of his copywriters, who's apparently like really, really good now, like is one of the best in the world. But when he was starting, he was already pretty good. Like his first VSL for one of Josh's products in Dow Badass, but John had him rewrite the whole thing completely. So a lot of this is going to be work in progress, and I don't want you guys to think that I am the authority on this here. Things are going to be changing. Like things, or I don't know for a fact they're going to be changing, but things can change, and we'd probably be doing the VSL. It could possibly happen that we could do the VSL completely in another direction, right? Yeah. So bear with me. I know this is what I took from it, and this is like the best way I can say. I would say like 90+% of this is stuff that's already in the 3x VSL generator, and then some of this is just some of my stuff and how I received that knowledge and I gave it to you guys. Yeah, and as you can see, right, for the homework, it's pretty straightforward, and a lot of this is fill in the blank kind of stuff, which is really great because it already guides you through that process. Perfect. Any questions from any of you, anybody else, like Luke or Raphael?
What are pattern interrupts?
Okay. Any questions on the pattern interrupt?
Yeah. What is it exactly? Is it like saying something that gets people out of their usual habits or something?
Yeah. So basically, before somebody gets to your sales page, they're already in some sort of a thinking mode, right?
Yeah.
They're in a thinking pattern, and they're just kind of like in their default pattern of whatever they're thinking about. We don't know what they're thinking about, but the point is we have to like put.
Shake them
It's
up
like
or
what.
something.
Yeah, we have to put like what John Benson calls it, a snap suggestion. The snap suggestion is essentially like going up to somebody and snapping a finger, right, in the
Yeah.
middle of their conversation, which it's gonna bring attention to it, and it's gonna it's gonna shift their attention from whatever they were doing to this thing that came out of out of the blue. So that's what a pattern interrupt is, which is why I guess if you guys know, like Josh's like goldfish thing worked really well, is it got people's attention right away, right in the first 3 seconds or whatever. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but a lot of it is like all the steps. You can literally like break it down into like attraction, rapport, and seduction, like towards the end, like the grand offer and stuff like that. So I mean, if any of that stuff is, if you still remember it in your mind, or if you forgot it, but yeah, you can still break it down in that process. Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions from you, Raphael?
It's just when you mentioned what you just said, it was kind of funny. So like when we use when we use the system in the Tao Badass, we're basically walking sales letters for ourselves.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. It's essentially like a completely like verbal walk from how to somebody, open to close.
Yeah.
So the goldfish VSL was, I think, one of the
You're cutting out.
We
John
can't hear
Benson's.
you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're back.
Right, is this better?
This is better now.
This is better, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I said what I was saying.
They're
is I
both
think,
fine. It's just that before we were cutting.
Yeah, I was trying to open the VSL generator. I don't think my computer can handle all that stuff going on. But I was essentially saying that I believe the goldfish was one of the first, like the goldfish VSL was one of the first VSLs to use John Benson's system, just to show how well it works. And I think Josh worked with John on it. So perfect. Yeah, so the PowerPoints are going to be used. So PowerPoints are going to be uploaded. The my curriculum, kind of like my VSL Bootcamp PowerPoint, and then my my first VSL. So you guys have an idea, and I hope you guys took notes. and just essentially find me one angle, right? And then from that angle, find me one USP, two stories, one nightmare, one dream story, and 3 tips, and then 4 comparisons. Um, the cool thing about the comparisons is that you know how Josh said, okay, like in his goldfish VSL, right? This is a fish. The cool thing is you want to have something that is completely out of the blue that you can relate to, relate to like what your goal would be, right? Like let's say, this is a surfboard, or I'm going to show you how this surfboard can make you face your greatest fear, right? Something like that. And the other cool thing is, if you're not too sure about what to use, right, for comparison, it's not that big of a deal because, like, you can really link anything, like any kind of like object, to your nightmare stories. So, like, if you want to, if you want to ask Josh a question, like specifically about like if you're going to use the "you're going to die" angle, right? And you want him to give you the nightmare story and then tell him like which object he wants to link it to and why, then he can just send it to you, right? And you'll say, so it's not going to be such a big deal. But what I really want you guys to get down is your own version of your own USP and your own 3 tips. I really want to see how you guys think, and I want to see how you guys use your creativity. And then you can try it out for the first, for me it was the first 27 slides for step 1 of the VSL. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
And does it sound doable?
Yeah, let's talk about the time frame we're looking at. When do we want to do the second part?
So I'm thinking, I think 3 days is a good time frame for you guys to, write all this stuff down, right? Get your angles down, get your tips and stuff down. And if you have any requests for nightmare stories, feel free to. Do you want to handle these requests, Jacob, or?
Yeah, I can do that. Just send me
Okay,
a
so
request and I find the person who can answer it. Okay, so they write down the homework and then they send it to you?
This is what we're going to do. Let's make a document. Let's make a Google document, maybe in the marketing thing.
Yeah.
And then everybody start putting your USPs in there. I'm guessing most of you guys might not know, like, and even I don't know all of Josh's nightmare stories, but he has apparently a lot of them. Start sending your requests for nightmare stories, right? Like specific for this, dealing with the specific angles, and then ask him for like something to link it to, and why, or and how rather, and so we have them all on one document, and so then we can start. Then you can start piecing. Like you can start piecing your VSL from there, and it doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't really matter if like you don't have the nightmare story. Like you can just you can just put it into like in brackets like nightmare story, right, until you get it.
So we put everything in one document. Everybody in one document.
Yeah, we'll just put their like angles and everything in one document. And then put your name on there. And like let's say in just a moment, right? If you have like pattern interrupt, you don't have to pick, like you don't have to make up an object, like you don't have to read anybody's mind. You can just literally write like pattern interrupt object, right? And in just a moment, I'm going to show you how pattern interrupt object is going to show you how to do this and this, right? Like whatever your angle is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
That's agreement, I think.
Okay, I think so. I'm gonna assume that.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions here. Just in regards to the angle, I remember that the call probably about a month ago, and Josh was saying that the angle for the book was going to be around the Game and No Games.
Hmm.
So, how does that tie in with this angle?
Which one, the You Are Going to Die angle, or this one, the one that I made, which is
It's just the concept of angle of what we're doing. You're talking about how we use a couple of different angles, but the angle for the book in a discussion Josh was having with I can't remember who it was now, was going to be the Game and No Games. So,
how does it relate to that?
well, wouldn't I don't understand why we wouldn't be using that angle for all of the
Oh,
VSLs.
well, I use that angle for the VSL. I like for the VSL that I made, I used it like kind of like unknowingly. I just put it. I just felt like it was flowing really well, but I would say we don't necessarily know like that that angle just might be like a good angle that most people respond to when they're reading the book. We don't necessarily know like if that's the only angle that people will respond to, and if there's an angle that people will respond to more in terms of just getting their attention snapped out from whatever the hell they're doing, right?
Hmm.
So like I guess it's like people have what people want and what people need are sometimes two different things and could be very opposite,
Hmm.
right? So I guess it's really good to get all these different angles out there, and I don't know, like I'm not sure what the content process is, but I think Josh is pretty set on that angle, and but who knows, really, right? Like anything could change. Maybe
So,
there's a better angle for anything, but yeah.
so these
Um,
angles then, really, it's from the information that we've got from the recordings, the transcripts, the mind mapping, just digging something out of there, maybe a couple of different angles.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You can. So I guess now you're asking me how to find these angles, right? Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess you could find it from your mind map, and this is great because now that we had this meeting, everybody's on the same page. So I want you guys to talk with each other, like amongst each other, a lot more, and start. Like if you feel like you have an angle, if you don't feel like you have an angle, post it on the board. You know, get involved. Like you have a question, right? Get involved and start posting on the board. Like I don't know how to find an angle. Like I would say, yeah, start using the mind map. Start if you've probably already like started listening to the audio stuff. Start finding angles from there. If the audio stuff is kind of long for you to listen, start using the transcriptions that everybody's been using. Go get a read through there to get angles. I know that Josh definitely wants one where uh, he wants a "you're going to die" angle. You know like you don't have that much time and you have no idea, right? Um, off the top of my head, I can't think of other ones. I might I might start posting them if I start thinking some angles. So another thing, or like a couple really, but hopefully soon, is start posting ideas for angles on either the fan page, or maybe Jacob, you could make a document about that. I actually know that we do already have a document. We actually
Yeah,
do already.
we have a document where we collected all the angles.
Yeah.
And,
So we can do is
share it.
we can use that as a jumping off point to start brainstorming more ideas for angles, and we can start getting more active with it. How does that sound?
Yep,
Or,
perfect.
Yeah, good.
perfect. And then any discussions, feel free to talk amongst each other or ask me and or Jacob about angles and stuff like that. Um, yeah. Um, yeah. That's I think that answered that question, right?
Yep.
Perfect. Any other questions from anybody else?
Yeah, sorry. So, for example, in the VSL that you just showed us, I didn't catch. Um, what did you put at step 3? The big problem.
Mm-hmm. You didn't catch. Oh, you didn't catch like kind of like the.
Like I got the nightmare story, I got the pattern interrupt, and I got the 3
Oh,
tips.
like the big problem. It has nothing to do with anything else. Was it like? Yeah, like there was no use. There was no like everything that we learned. There was no use for it in step 3 in the big problem. Is that what you're saying?
No. Like I didn't. I think it was just me personally. Like when you were going through VSL,
Oh,
like okay, I see the pattern interrupt, I see the nightmare story, but I didn't.
right. Yeah, you didn't see how it connected. You didn't see how it
Yeah.
connected. That's fine. Um, the big problem is just something that connects the first two. I guess the first two ideas with the last two. So so it's not so it's not necessarily something you're going to see right away. But as we go on through the rest of the VSL, you will see it. The essential like reason for the big problem is kind of like a shifting point in the VSL for people that are just watching it. You're shifting their mental you're shifting their mind frame from one of this is something cool, right, to this is something that I need to start taking responsibility for. So you're shifting their mind from just watching it to taking action. So it's kind of like, I guess, something in the middle. It's a functional thing that takes all the stuff from your first two things that you filled out, right, that I gave you guys for like homework, and then it connects to the next two or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, like I said, this is all skeleton framework stuff. Right now, it doesn't look like a man, right? It looks like a stick figure. But you know, first off, you start off small, and then after a while, it's you first you put in the broad strokes, right? And then you start filling in it with the fine strokes, and then it starts really like looking more like the picture that you want to see. Perfect. Um, any other questions? I think this is probably pretty good, and it's about 1:30 now.
Yes. So just to get it clear, the next part would be on Thursday then?
Yeah. I posted on the event. You guys have any preference for Wednesday or Thursday? Yeah, we can put it on for Thursday, same time.
Okay. Does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
It won't work for me, but that's cool. Maybe I'll just watch it later. I'll be flying overseas at that time, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we could put it late. Yeah. Does that work for everybody else?
Rafael?
Yeah, it works for me.
Although maybe like if it could be 2 hours later, it would be better for me.
That's fine with me as well. Is that
Later? Mm-hmm.
is that okay with you, Tim? You think you'd still?
Look, I'll be on Friday morning Australia time. We're 10 hours over you guys, I think thereabouts. Yeah, I'll be flying pretty much all day. So
Okay. What
the
about
Wednesday would be better for me, but
What would
that's
be
cool.
better for you?
Probably
would Wednesday?
Wednesday would be better.
Okay.
Wednesday.
Is everybody okay with Wednesday at like New York Eastern Standard Time at 2?
That's 8 o'clock for you, Luke. And I don't know what time zone you are, Rafael.
Yeah, I mean I'm in Florida, so that should be fine for me.
Yeah, that's morning then for you. Like,
What's that for you, Jacob?
that's 8 o'clock in the evening for me. Same as Luke, but it's fine for me.
Okay. Is that okay with you, Luke? We could
Yes.
put it at 3 maybe if we want to, or
No, that's cool. Let's do that. 8 o'clock.
Okay.
Actually, it doesn't work for me.
8 o'clock Netherlands time.
8 o'clock doesn't work. It would work if you do it at 6 o'clock, like today.
Okay. So that would still be 12, right?
12 o'clock for you and 9 o'clock for Rafael and something late for Tim. 'Cause it's pretty-
Okay. Okay.
Does that work for you, Tim?
Yeah. Look, if we can get it on the Wednesday, I'll make sure I stay
Wednesday,
up for it
same
or
time
get up
as
for it
today.
or whatever.
Okay, does that work for you, Luke? Yeah.
I'll have to see, but I think I can make it.
Okay,
Okay.
so we'll do that.
Okay,
Perfect.
so we're gonna try for that. We're gonna do a little bit of talking and everything, so it should be okay. Feel free to jump in whenever you can.
Okay,
Um,
perfect.
Otherwise, I'll just watch the recording or something.
Yeah,
okay.
it would be good to have everybody on board because it would probably be interactive, right? We talk about all the homework and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, perfect, exactly. Um, all
Then
right.
maybe could we do it at like 7 o'clock? So that would be 1 o'clock for
One.
you.
Is that okay for you?
The problem is that I have an appointment at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So that, but I can try to push it. Let's figure that out after the call. So
Okay.
Okay, we can try maybe like 12:30 or something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's check that out once we're off the call and everything.
Yes.
Okay, we'll see it as it comes then.
Okay, last thing I want to do is like as Giovanni introduced the plus EBIs for everybody, so everybody talks about what worked for him quickly and shares what will make it even better. So
Even better.
we can start to improve and learn a little bit from it.
Okay. So from here I have Luke, Raphael, Tim. Okay. So I guess we'll start with Luke. Like, what did you like, and what do you think would make it even better? This call.
Let's see. I liked. I don't know. I liked the call, and I don't really know if there's anything to improve.
Okay.
Maybe we can write down like questions and every half an hour or something or 15 minutes you just check down the questions instead of well, I think maybe something like that. But
Something a little bit more organized in the questions system.
yeah,
Okay.
um,
So like a questions system. Okay. Perfect.
yeah.
So Raphael.
Um, honestly, I'm fine with the format. I mean, I think Luke's idea is good, but even without it, I think I would be okay. Um, we did have the space for Q&A, and you did the same thing you're doing now, where you just go through each one of us and you open up a space for us to voice our opinions or concerns or questions or whatever. So I think it works. I don't think
Okay.
there's
Yes, the thing I meant was more like uh, not just not questions during the call, but like all the time, more like every 15 minutes or something. Look at
Something
if
more
there are
predictable.
questions.
Something predictable, right? Like you have a feeling like your questions are gonna get answered. You know that for a fact.
More like less random because for me it works better if I have like 15 minutes focused information uh, things and then maybe some questions instead of when there's like when there can be like every 5 minutes there's a question then my focus drifts off a bit, but
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So
might
so
be just me.
more structured questions.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
but it worked fine, just something that would
Something you
be available.
could see that could be, yeah, obviously made better. Okay. Perfect. Um. That does make a lot of sense because sometimes, it does mess up the flow. For me, it was just for me it was whenever I finished my thought. So we'll see how we can make it so that everything is organized. Tim.
Um, I think yeah, it was a really good call. In that you've organised it really well. There's a lot of information to get through, and I'm glad you've broken it up into two calls, and you're getting us to sit down and go through and do some actual work to put it into reality. Um, so I think that's really really critical. I think because it's a fairly complex thing that we're doing, and I think once we get the hang of it, it'll make a lot more sense once we've
Mhm.
actually applied it a bit. So my only issue at this point is probably with the system because I've taken notes. I don't have anything to work with. So I'm assuming we're going to get your like the PDF or the PowerPoint slides just to go back and check over everything, so that obviously we're going to talk about it on the Facebook forum and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, something there to actually work with, because you've got the system there, you're logged into the system, you can see it, you're getting feedback, but
Yeah.
it's sort of, there's a lot of information that we've sort of all taken on straight up. So
Right. Yeah, I was thinking of that. So something like more of a walkthrough through through the generator.
well, I don't even know if that's probably necessary, because we're not going to be using the generator ourselves, are we? So, but it's like not for what we're trying to do, which is to actually sit down and do a bit of work on this. So I really like the overview that we've had. So then, yeah, some kind of sheet that would say, okay, cool. Maybe a
Oh,
little bit more detail that I can
okay.
go back over again.
Okay, so this is what I'll do. I was actually thinking of doing this. What I'll do is I'll put like a questionnaire sheet. I don't know what's the best way to do this. I'll talk with Jacob about this. And I will make a questionnaire that's more like fill in the blank, right?
And we will also get the PowerPoint and the Word document, right?
Yep. So we're gonna put the PowerPoint document of my whatever my bootcamp is. So you get the PowerPoint document of my bootcamp, and then you will get the PowerPoint document of my VSL. And then we will have a kind of a questionnaire fill in the blank, and basically it'll say put your USP here, put your angle here, put your USP here, put your nightmare and dream stories here. Obviously, well, most probably, right? You guys are not going to know which nightmare story to use, so what you can write is your request for a nightmare story, right? And then whatever your angle is, right? Your dream story is going to be how it comes out if you get this product, right? So you have your dream story, and then you have your 3 tips, and you have your 4 comparisons. And then after that, feel free to make your own VSL with those things. How does that sound for everybody? And essentially, what you can do is that all the connecting stuff that I use in my VSL, you can pretty much copy and paste it. You know, so you guys should have a nice good kind of like a framework to work with when you make the first 30 slides for the intro. Does that sound
Yeah,
doable?
I think having the framework there that you just talked about, because you've set down and developed a framework for this particular one. I mean, you could use any example of any VSL that's been developed with this system, and then just say, well, this is what a finished VSL looks like. This is what a really highly polished one looks like, and then you could pick it apart and break it down, and then it's very clear to go, oh yeah, cool, I understand how that works. Now I just need to finesse it in my own way with my own topic. So, yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna see if there's any more additions to make so you guys can get it can get a better idea of it. And I think whatever way is better for me to send it to you guys. Maybe I'll just post it in the marketing group. That should help you guys understand it a little bit better. So obviously this stuff is going to be kind of ongoing, and I just thought about it as well. So it should help you guys get a better idea of it. Yeah. So this is I guess this is it for the call. Unless we have any more questions, I think we should be good.
Cool.
Cool.
Perfect.
All right. So I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. You and me, Jacob. I guess we'll work together on making somewhat of like a questionnaire sheet, like a fill in the blank sheet for these guys. We'll send it to them, and I'm gonna maybe send you guys one little document to get your intro your VSL intro just that much more solid. Sounds good?
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
Sonny. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.